G'day friends, welcome to today's YouTube video. My name is James, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. Today, I'm gonna give you a bit of a, this is what's happening in my life. Really excited and anxious and nervous and have to get through this quickly type voiceover. I'm so sorry to bring this energy to your day, but I'm excited because 2 hours from now, I'll be doing my live on the Lido deck for Virtual Voyage 7. It is Friday when I'm filming this. It is Friday. It is almost 5 p.m. as I'm doing this voiceover. So I will see some of you in 2 hours in a live stream with this same energy. But I've got my coffee. I'm halfway through a venti, so it's my second of the day. I can't wait. I'm just excited. I just kind of wanted to let you know that throughout this stream of consciousness journaling session, I was enjoying the visuals. I was just kind of dumping what was in my brain onto the page. I found all these characters and I drew Liji Lulu, my little nephew, because his school photos are right there and I see them every single day. So I drew a version of him. Doesn't really look like him, but he's on there. The Beyonce song Alien Superstar has been playing non-stop in the back of my head. So I gave it a bit of Alien Superstar vibes on there. And some little Halloween-y type characters came out, a little Tim Burton-ish. So I think my subconscious is really ready for Halloween at this point. And yeah, let's get into all the life update type stuff. I just want to catch up with you really quickly. Once this voiceover is finished, I'll probably put some music on towards the end and skip you through the rest of that video. But so sorry that I'm filming this the same day and I can't give this like a huge amount of time. I still want to be able to share with you. I want to be able to say hello, pop in, chat, show you what I'm enjoying. I'm back in my Strathmore Mixed Media Journal. I am really liking that actually. I feel like I would purchase another one of those. The paper does feel like sketch paper, but it holds up really nicely. It's just a beautiful feeling book. It feels really expensive, but it feels like an expensive sketchbook, not a watercolor book. If that paper were just a touch thicker, I think I would love that book. But also it's hardbound and it's kind of getting to that point where it's a little hard to keep flat. Anyway, all of that aside, I just renewed my Disneyland annual pass. Super excited about that. I think it's definitely gone up in price. And I got the Believe key, which is the one that I had last time. I think there's some extra perks to it, but I think the perk is to do with parking. And Steve gets free parking, so I just use that on my spouse pass. And then, so it's not like I bought it for anything specific other than I think there's just the least amount of blockout dates that I care about. I don't want to be blocked out for all of summer, and I think the one below that kind of blocks you out for all of summer. So that's that. Having said that, I'll be a cast member as of September 2nd. So technically, I think I could probably sign myself in, but that'll probably end by January when, the parade's finished. Did I tell you guys it's a Christmas fantasy parade? So I'm really excited about that. I'm so excited and so nervous I don't want to say anything because, I don't like to count my chickens. That is coming up soon though. So that's really exciting because I will get to know what my schedule's like. And that's something that I've been really anxious to find out, what schedule I'm going to be working with. I don't have many plans to be doing anything major before the end of the year. The only other thing that I feel like is on my docket, I have some guest teaching to do with Art Journaling the Magic, but Merry Mixed Media, I love to do that every year. So Merry Mixed Media is something that I think I have to get done before November. Before November. And then, pardon me, my coffee is repeating on me. And then I have to maybe think about doing some of these products I want to do. I really wanted to do something for Christmas. Who knows if that's going to get done or not. I'm probably going to say it's not going to get done. I wanted to do a traveler's notebook, much like how Job, remember last year I used the pre-decorated traveler's notebook that Job did. I love the one that Job did. I don't think I have another one, so I'm fully used that one. And I figured that I could try and find inspiration from Christmas movies that I love, like The Grinch, Home Alone, Family Stone, Santa Claus, Jingle All the Way, White Christmas, everything, literally everything. Maybe I could try and find inspiration there and do like a pre-decorated traveler's notebook insert, selfishly so that I can use it, but I would try and buy some for my store as well. That's really what I wanted to do. Will that happen? Who really knows? Because I also wanted to do something else for Whimsyween. I wanted to combine Daisy with Whimsyween this year. So this is the thing that I think I might try and work on. Remember years ago when we did Daisy the first time she had a book? That year I actually looked, I don't know if I even told anyone this, I looked into manufacturers, I contacted many of them, trying to get the book printed. I wanted a hardbound watercolor notebook that had the prompts printed on each page so that you would directly illustrate into the book. And so once it was finished, you had a fully illustrated book, and it looked like, you know, a real book. That never worked out. I think the quote I got for one of them was like $80 per book. That was just to buy. That wasn't even with any markup for retail, for reselling. So yeah, that was a nightmare. And I even considered trying to put my own together, and I didn't really like that, and I just abandoned the whole thing afterwards because if it gets too hard, I've got to move on. But this year I thought, you know what, maybe I was being a little ambitious with the watercolor paper. I don't think you would need watercolor paper if you were going to do like Inktober. Let's not call it that because I don't want any litigation, but the October drawing challenge with ink. If you were going to do that, technically you just need paper that holds up to ink, right? And we're a pretty resourceful bunch. We can find out what works and what doesn't work. And I figured that it would be a really, I don't know how accessible, but a pretty accessible way if I did it through Amazon, because they take care of it all for you. It won't be coming straight from me. It'll be getting printed through them and go straight from Amazon to you, which I think it would be eligible for Prime shipping, and I think it's eligible around the world. So I'm going to look into doing that and possibly creating the book with all the prompts. And then what I want to do is I want to buy it and I want to illustrate it on YouTube. Not to try and make a big old children's book out of it, but just to use them as like a book of prompts, and then it's a fully illustrated book by the end. So I think we're going to try and take a more resourceful approach to the idea I had originally all those years ago. And then all those years ago, I think my solution to that was to get everyone to submit their pictures so I could make the book. And that's why we did we did all the submissions and we did the book, which I love. I love that book. I still look through it all the time. So that's something I was thinking about. And I figured because it was Halloween, Whimsyween, I could kind of have Daisy maybe in all of the costumes she's ever worn. Leave your suggestions, actually, if you have a good idea for this. Or even if you want to leave the prompts. You know, it's riddles. It's rhyming little riddles, and they only have to be one sentence long. But I should literally make another video for this because I feel like you guys you'd finish it in a heartbeat and it'd be so good. But Whimsyween, it's very light. We don't do the blood, guts, and gore of Halloween. It's kind of light and whimsical. And then I thought maybe we could do it was either a story about all her different Halloweens, or like the different scenarios she gets into when she goes to knock on the door, when she, you know, picks out her outfit, when she wears the outfit to school, some of the matching outfits she's had with friends. I think, you know, much like Daisy is just a prompt to draw within that kind of framework of what the the characteristics of her look like. The glasses, the scalloped hair, the freckles. Bless you, cat. The cat just sneezed. You know, the prompts just can be really open-ended as well. So I'm thinking that's what I want to do, and that's probably where my heart's going to run towards once you know, workshops and all my work stuff is over. We've got Collage Club coming up. We've got Art Snacks. I've got to do that as well towards the end of the month. So this tends to be a bit of my busy period, the end of the month, and especially since I'm right in the middle of a workshop right now. You know, these are just ideas that have been in the back of my head to address once everything slows down. So we're looking at maybe 2 weeks from now, figuring all of that out, which would be a really short turnaround time. That's why I figured if it's for Christmas, I have to like really get on it. If it's for Whimsyween, Daisy's Whimsyween, Daisyween, is that weird? Then it wouldn't have to be too quick, because once it's uploaded to Amazon, it's pretty fast from there, because they do that like direct publishing. So that's what I was thinking about that. Those ideas excite me. Like I said, Merry Mixed Media has to be done before that, and I am taking a small break from virtual voyages. Well, here's the thing, like maybe I'll talk about this another time, or if you catch me on a live stream, I'll chat about it, like on Instagram Live or something. Everything I learned from the playtest Patreon experiences, remember those back in the day, essentially turned into what Virtual Voyage is now. Now, everything I know about Virtual Voyage, I want to return to playtest Patreon and see what that would look like again. The only thing I would change is probably the mailing tier. I don't know how I would address that. I don't know if I would do a mailing tier, if I do something that could be sent out in an envelope rather than a box, if I would even do one at all. My mind at this point, only because I'm feeling kind of overwhelmed right now from the bento boxes we just did, my mind kind of says, don't do any products, but you know me, I get really excited and I probably want to. Having said that, I think I would have to really streamline that process, because the more manufacturers we got involved, the worse it became for issues. Everything would kind of back up, and we have to delay things. So that is never the part of the process that I enjoy, and I would have to think long and hard about that. But January, February, March are the 3 months I'm going to carve out in my schedule for Playtest Patreon, and I think I'm going to go back to the tiers that we had before, which I don't really remember, but I'm pretty sure I'll go back to the way it was. And essentially all the content that I've been, because Playtest Patreon kind of morphed into Virtual Voyage, right? All the content I would do on there became parts of content that I would put into these specific live workshops. And now that I'm more like fleshed out and I feel like more well-rounded in my understanding of what that looks like in the workshops, now I want to see what that looks like back in Patreon without the themes. I love the themes, and our tagline is, you know, Virtual Voyage, themed for inspiration, open for imagination. But ironically, having a theme can also narrow the scope of what you're able to produce, because you've got to stay within that world. So going back to something more open-ended, I feel like might just be good for me at this point. I feel like that's kind of naturally where I'm headed just throughout this next season. And, you know, just pure bonus points for the fact that it is a much more affordable buy-in in Patreon than it is to do a workshop. And I feel like people are looking for that at this point. It's not to say I'm not doing workshops. I'm still working on the style one that I started working on a few months ago. But I like to have both of those options. I like to have something that is of a more premium price point for people to purchase into, because I'm under no, no delusions, no illusions. Pretend I know what I'm talking about. I know that most of us, myself included, if we're going to save our pennies for something, we're going to put that disposable income towards a non-essential journaling purchase. So I know that there are still plenty of people, you know, recession aside, that don't care. They're going to spend money on things they enjoy, and I think you should. That is totally up to you. I do it, so I can't say anything about it. But I also know there are tons of people out there looking to save some money as well, and to put some money, you know, towards more essential purchases. So it's why I'm always committed to, like, you know, putting my YouTube content out here and putting Instagram posts up all the time, trying to be accessible for free in a lot of places, because that is where I got the most value out of art journaling when I first started. You know, all the other places you can go to purchase to learn, or to purchase art supplies and stationery and things, like all of that is just gravy to the experience, right? But yeah, since I like to have that premium price point offering for my products and my workshops, I also like to have a more affordable price point for things like Collage Club and then Patreon as well. I feel like, especially since a lot of my educational content went to workshops, guest teaching, and my own, I feel like that is where it might be nice to have some more of that educational content make its way into a more affordable price point through Patreon. That's my solution to that, I think. Solution is probably the wrong word. There's no actual problem. Let's call the recession the problem. There's my solution to the recession. But let's not talk about real world problems here, because that's not what I'm here for. The other stuff that's going on, still really excited to go back to Australia for my sister's wedding. That is, yeah, I don't even know what that is going to look like now. My schedule has kind of all changed, so I've got to be a bit more flexible with the dates. That, obviously not the wedding day, but I don't really know if we're going to be able to stay for as long as we were going to before, or we're going to have to kind of alter that. That's going to be something that is kind of up in the air until I figure it out with my new job, which I start September 2nd. Did I say that? I don't know when the actual dancing starts. It's more kind of training on September 2nd. So that'll be really exciting. Steve is right in the middle of his busiest season of the year, and his most favorite time of year as well. For those of you who know, he works at Disneyland. We'll be working there together throughout Christmas. It'll be so nice. He's singing over with a musical celebration of Coco. And Coco is his favorite movie of all time. So suffice to say, it's probably his favorite show of all time. He has an amazing time doing that show, and every year it's like the highlight of his year, and everything revolves around it. So it's going to be interesting for us to both be there. And all of that, I think, ends November 1st or 2nd. So if you're at Disneyland, or you make your way over to Disneyland California Adventure at any point, just go over to Plaza de la Familia and say hi to Steve for me, because I won't be able to make it there as much this year. We have got tickets to see Oogie Boogie Bash, which is the Halloween party. I forget what date those on. Speaking of Steve, he's walking through the door. Oh, it's almost 15 minutes. I gotta go. I thought this was gonna be a really quick video. I think I've talked throughout the whole thing. Anyway, that is everything from me. Thank you for joining me for today's video. I hope you enjoyed the stream of consciousness journaling and all the little close-up clips at the end. I'll see you again really soon. And I'll see any of you in Virtual Voyage 7 online, live, in literally 2 hours, okay? Well, 2 hours from right now. Probably an hour by the time you see this. Goodbye, everyone.